My name is Brooke Dunk. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a therapist. I work in group practice. I'm also a wife. My husband's over there. I'm also a mother, which is very multi-layered, and we will get to that. So I would love to share with you today the perspective of someone who has gone through grief and loss, myself, but also from the perspective of a clinical therapist, as I was talking about grief every single day with clients, and then I experienced it myself. So for the first time, I went through a parallel process of grieving and then helping clients process their own grief. So that was unique in itself. Today I will be talking about miscarriage, pregnancy, and pregnancy after loss. I know a lot of these topics have been discussed today, so at any time, if you need to take a break, drink water, if you need to put your hand on your chest and just breathe, I just want to encourage you to be gentle with yourself today. This is a safe place to be able to do that. I will briefly share my story of loss. So back in 2021, my husband and I just decided it was time to start our family, and it was a very exciting process. We found out we were pregnant in November of 2021. We were very excited. You know, I think a lot of us who have been pregnant before for the first time, you think like, it'll never happen to you. Miscarriage will never happen to you. And fast forward 3 months later, we went to our routine checkup with the doctor and just had that experience that so many people have, where they put their hand on you and they're like, I'm so sorry. And you just know that it happened to me. Now it's happened to us. And I remember my husband and I looking at each other like, in disbelief. It's you leave your body for a moment. So we talked to the doctor and they tell you the whole spiel. It's so common, try again, you know, it's a fluke. And you're like, okay, that's kind of hopeful, but it doesn't feel like this should be common. So we left the doctor's office empty-hearted and empty-handed, and we were told to just go ahead and try again. So we prayed, we stayed faithful, and we continued to try. Fast forward, within a few months, we experienced 2 more early losses, which are actually known as chemical pregnancies, but miscarriage nonetheless. And I remember after my 3rd miscarriage, I remember vividly being on my living room floor and yelling, and just this visceral reaction of yelling. And I remember saying to God, how much longer do I have to experience this pain? Because the pain is very visceral, it's very physical, and I just cried. I had a lot of fear of the unknown. Is this ever going to happen for us? And I heard a whisper, just be faithful. And I didn't actually like that answer at all, but that's what he said. So I said, whatever that means, we will be faithful. Fast forward, my husband and I, we had what we call our rainbow baby. And we had him in March of last year, so he just turned 1. And I say that rainbow baby because that's not everybody's story. I think a lot of people will tell you, like, it will happen for you. You'll have your rainbow baby, but that didn't provide me much solace when I was going through so much grief. But I thank God today that we did get our rainbow baby, but that was not without challenge. So, pregnancy after loss. Many of you maybe have gone through this. It's its own lens of grief in itself. You experience layers of fear and anxiety that's really difficult to put words to. And I remember grieving an experience during pregnancy, like I couldn't feel joy that I felt that I should. So the shame, right? I feel guilt. Am I supposed to be happy? Am I supposed to feel joy? The answer is yes, but that's what loss and grief does to us. So maybe other people can enjoy parts of their pregnancy if they haven't experienced loss, but we're dealt with a lot more fear and a lot more anxiety and the fear of the unknown. So thank God for resources and books and people encouraging me, and we got through it. And I look at my son every day as a testament that anything is possible. And his name is Ezra, by the way. I didn't think I said his name. So let's get into grief, trauma, and coping. So I just want to say, I know it's been mentioned earlier, but pregnancy loss, infant loss is trauma. And a lot of the times when we experience pregnancy loss, it's a silent grief. It's a little bit different than if somebody's grandmother passes away. You know, people give you condolences, they bring you things, but when people go through miscarriage, they feel like they can't share. And that can be very isolating and very traumatic. When you go through infant loss, pregnancy loss, it affects you physically, mentally, and spiritually. You are impacted in so many different ways. It can be very hard to work through all of these emotions at one time, and you can get very disconnected from your body. So, what I learned about grief through my process was grief is not linear. Nobody can tell you how to grieve, and nobody can put a timeline on your grief, and your grief will change. Some days, although we have our rainbow baby, I still grieve, and I actually went through a process of thanking my grief as it's transformed who I am as a mother. It's transformed how I see the world, and it's how I interact with my clients now. So my relationship with grief has definitely changed over time. So allow yourself to have that process as well, but do it in your own time that feels right for you. I'll tell you from my personal experience of how I coped and what got me through the deepest grief that I had ever experienced. Don't do it alone. And maybe that's just finding one person that you talk to about it. I did attend an online support group, and I will share about that. It's free and it's virtual, and that was very, very helpful. Look at this community here. We're all here for each other. Don't leave today without being able to connect with somebody. Get someone's information. Do not leave here by yourself. Like, we are all here. The other part is I would love for you and love for you to reconnect with yourself in a way that is meaningful to you, but do it in a way that is a form of art. And when I say that, it could be dance, Erica with your praise dance. It could be singing, it could be writing, it could be drawing. It doesn't even have to be like you're super talented, but do something that reconnects yourself. Because when we go through this type of grief, you get very disconnected from yourself. So anything, again, that helps you release, I would really encourage you to do that. Even if it's by yourself and you're in your living room, nobody's watching you, but reconnect with yourself through dance, yell if you need to, but I'm giving you permission today to do that. So, as I was going through my grief, I don't sing, I don't dance. I mean, my husband says I'm a good singer, but he's my husband, so he has to say that. But what I decided to do was I danced. I would see a client on Zoom, I would log off, I would cry, and I would dance, and I would yell, and I would sing, and I tapped into a part of myself that I never thought possible, I didn't think was there, but grief got me there, and God, thank God. But it honestly helped me it doesn't make the grief go away, but it helps put it somewhere, right? So I did that, and it got me through. So my husband also makes music. We decided, let's make a song for our daughter. So we did that. We made a song, we were silly about it, and then I was like, let's go shoot a music video. Who says that? Well, I did, and I'm like, let's go shoot a music video. I mean, it's not in this area, but we went to Chino State Park where all the poppies were bloomed, and we shot a music video. Put it on YouTube, we'll get to that later, but that's how I reconnected to myself and reconnected to my husband. Lastly, honoring your story. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it out there. Please tell your story. You don't have to get on this platform, you don't have to go on social media, but please tell your story. Even if you just write it down, because it matters, whether you were 6 weeks pregnant, 36 weeks pregnant, whether it was your 5-year-old child, your story matters so much. Please tell somebody or just write it down and read it to yourself, because you really honor yourself and you honor your process when you do that. that was the most important way that I was able to honor my story, was to put a name to my journey and put a name to my baby that I lost. So the second part, you don't have to do this today, or maybe you decide not to, but I want to give you permission to also name your baby or babies. You can give them an initial, you can give them a name, whatever is, again, this is your journey, so whatever is meaningful to you. So we named our first daughter August. We love the movie August Rush, and she was going to be due in August. And that's what we call her, and we talk about her, and she's part of our story. And that helps honor us as parents and our losses. But honor your story in the way that you want to, because you have full control. Lastly, being here today, you're honoring yourself and you are honoring your story. Even if you're not talking about it today, I just want you to sit with that it's very brave, even in the deepest parts of our pain, when you just show up somewhere is very commendable. So thank you for being here today, for allowing me to be here today.